So here we are in Sportive season again. It's that time of year when grown men and women get up at the crack of dawn and drive miles for the fun of riding their bikes around unfamiliar roads with hundreds of other riders. I have to admit that I have a kind of love-hate relationship with Sportives. On the one hand, it's a fantastic way of getting people on their bikes and giving them a challenge to aim at. There's no doubt in my mind that they've dramatically increased cycling's popularity, but then on the other, I can't help feeling that it's all starting to get a bit too commercial, with high entry fees to essentially ride on what is, at the end of the day, a public road. Or is that just me being super cynical? I once heard an interview with the great Mark Cavendish, who said that you have to look for the gaps and not the obstacles. Now he of course was talking about what happens during a bunch sprint, but nevertheless that was still a pretty profound thing to say. So while we're doing our Sportives and Gran Fondo rides in our respective countries, the pros are doing a little bit of an epic ride themselves over in France at the moment. Now, I've always loved the Tour de France. It's been the highlight of my summer for many years now, dating back to when I was at school. I had a very good chum at the time called Karl, who had an older brother who was really into cycling, and some of my happiest memories from the late 70s and the early 80s is being round at Irv's and Karl's house watching the Tour de France on TV. Now, it may or may not surprise you to learn that I don't actually like sport, or to be correct, the more traditional kinds of sport such as football, tennis, golf, cricket, that kind of thing. Now obviously here in the UK we love our football and we love our cricket, and when I say football I mean soccer for our American chums. When I was at school I was made to play it. I never understood the rules, I was never very good at it, and I hated every minute of it. I much rather preferred to watch cycling on TV and just going out and riding my bike with my chums. Fast forward 35 years and I can now ride my bike as much as I want and watch it on TV as much as I want. Fortunately for me, I have Eurosport, so if I was that way inclined I could sit and watch a whole stage every day live as it happens. Now I probably wouldn't do this because to be brutally honest, watching 7 hours of the Tour de France unfolding can be a little bit dull. Perhaps that's a little controversial, but that's just my opinion. I'd much rather watch the hour highlights in the evening. We have those every evening on ITV4 at 7 o'clock. And these are fantastic. Yeah, they have all of the exciting bits, all of the finishes, and then a nice summary at the end to highlight the general classification, who's in the green jersey, who's in the white jersey, the polka dot jersey, and so on. So all in all, they are an absolutely fantastic programme to watch. I look forward to them every evening, and then when the tour's finished in about 3.5 weeks' time, I really miss it. I've been fortunate enough to be able to watch the Tour de France live several times now, and one of the best was back in 1994 when it was literally on my doorstep. Now that particular edition of the race, they'd spent 2 days in Britain, and the second of them started in Portsmouth, which is literally only about 10 miles down the road. It then proceeded to ride through places like Winchester, Basingstoke, Alton and Petersfield, and then back to Portsmouth again. On that day I was down in Portsmouth watching the rollout, which was absolutely amazing as it was literally the first time I'd seen the Tour de France in real life. And then for the finish I was back on the actual finish line watching them battle it out for first place. Now that was a pretty special event for me because not only were they riding through places that I knew really well. So for instance, I grew up in Alton, went to college in Basingstoke, lived in Petersfield. So they're towns and places that I know really, really well. They were riding on roads that I rode myself. So I knew the efforts they were putting in and I knew how hard all of the climbs were. I've also watched the Tour in its home country of France. And the last time was back in 2005. For that particular edition of the race, I was there on the final day in the centre of Paris, right on the corner of the Rue de Rivoli. So they passed us, I think it was about 8 or 9 times, and that was back kind of in the era of Lance Armstrong, and I think he even won the Tour that year. It was an absolutely amazing experience watching it in Paris. And when you're there, it just doesn't seem real. It's like you're on some sort of film set. You see it on TV so often, but actually being there, it's very sort of hard to take it all in. So if you can ever at all get to see the Tour de France live, I can thoroughly recommend it. It's completely free. It's a mad bonkers day and it's absolutely amazing. So that's about it from me for this week. Have a great time whatever you're doing, be that riding a Sportive or Gran Fondo, or watching the Tour de France live or even on TV. Lucky you. Thanks for watching.